Stand at the edge of the world where the land surrenders to the vast, dark water and listen. Long before the first cities were built or the earliest clocks were wound, the earth breathed in a slow, rhythmic cadence. The shoreline at midnight offers a profound stillness, interrupted only by the endless heavy sigh of water meeting sand. This is not merely a landscape, but a sanctuary of sound. Within this repetitive motion lies a hidden architecture, a natural blueprint designed to guide the human mind toward absolute tranquility. The consistent ebb and flow of the ocean waves is perhaps the oldest lullaby known to our species. It is a masterclass in the elemental designs of peace, offering a perfect, predictable rhythm that speaks directly to the deepest, most guarded centers of our nervous system. Exploring the invisible architecture of this sound reveals why it holds such profound calming power over our restless minds. When a wave gathers, crests, and breaks across the shore, it generates a complex symphony of acoustic frequencies. It is not a single note, but a rich tapestry of low, rumbling depths and soft, hissing highs, blended together in a perfect, continuous wash of resonance that washes over the listener. Acoustic researchers have a specific name for this balanced distribution of sound energy, identifying it as pink noise. Unlike the harsh static hiss of white noise, which broadcasts every frequency at an identical, piercing volume, pink noise follows a more organic curve. It gracefully tapers off the higher, sharper frequencies while amplifying the lower, deeper tones, creating a sonic profile that mimics the natural world. This subtle acoustic distinction is the key to unlocking profound rest, as our biological mechanisms are uniquely attuned to these softer, deeper frequencies. The gentle rumble of pink noise carries an inherent warmth, wrapping around the listener like a heavy, comforting blanket. It actively masks the sudden, jarring sounds of the modern world, smoothing out the jagged edges of the auditory landscape that might otherwise startle us awake. As these balanced sound waves travel through the cool night air and enter the human ear, a fascinating journey of translation begins. The delicate structures of the inner ear capture the ocean's acoustic signature, turning the physical movement of air into a cascade of electrical impulses. These signals travel inward, carrying the ancient rhythm of the tide directly into the complex, folding landscapes of the human brain. Deep within the mind, the auditory cortex receives this continuous stream of information, constantly analyzing the incoming data for signs of danger or change. When it encounters the predictable rolling pattern of ocean waves, the cortex recognizes a profound consistency. There are no sudden spikes, no alarming irregularities, only the steady, reliable promise that the next wave will sound exactly like the one that came before. This predictable pattern acts as a powerful signal of safety to our ancient survival mechanisms, which are always listening, even in the dark. Because the auditory cortex interprets the steady wash of pink noise as a non-threatening environment, it stops scanning for predators or hazards. The brain essentially stands down its sentries, acknowledging that the surrounding world is stable, secure, and conducive to lowering its defensive shields. With the perception of safety firmly established, the body initiates a profound chemical shift, actively reducing the production of stress hormones like cortisol. The heavy, anxious weight of the day, driven by the constant drip of adrenaline and vigilance, begins to dissolve. As cortisol levels plummet, the physical tension held tight in the jaw, the shoulders, and the chest slowly unfurls, melting away into the surrounding darkness. The receding tide of stress hormones clears the way for a deeper, more fundamental transformation within the body's internal command center. The physiological landscape shifts away from the high-alert, fight-or-flight responses that dominate our waking hours. We are crossing the threshold from the active, demanding world into the quiet, restorative sanctuary of the night, guided by the continuous, reassuring rhythm of the water. This biological crossing brings us into the embrace of the parasympathetic state, the nervous system's dedicated mode for resting and digesting. Here, the body's priority shifts from external survival to internal healing, cellular repair, and profound energy conservation. Entering this state is an absolute necessity for genuine recovery, and the ocean's steady acoustic blueprint provides the perfect, natural gateway to unlock this vital, physiological mode. Once anchored in this restorative phase, the heart rate begins to slow, naturally syncing its rhythm with the long, drawn-out intervals of the crashing waves. Breathing deepens and lengthens, matching the slow, expansive inhalation of the ocean drawing back and the relaxed exhalation of the water spilling onto the sand. The entire physical vessel synchronizes with the environment, mirroring the vast, unhurried pace of the natural world. Ancient wisdom has long revered this connection, instinctively understanding that proximity to living water brings a profound elemental peace to the human spirit. For thousands of years, our ancestors sought out the shores of lakes, rivers, and oceans, not just for sustenance, but for the deep, restorative quiet these environments provided. The sound of water was the original lullaby of humanity, a trusted companion in the vulnerable hours of darkness. The ancestral echo still resonates within us today, especially when we struggle to quiet the relentless, looping thoughts, often called the monkey mind. As the steady frequency of pink noise fills our auditory awareness, it leaves little room for anxious mental chatter to take root or spiral out of control. The mind, usually desperate for something to focus on, latches onto the predictable rhythm of the waves, finding a soothing anchor. By occupying the brain's processing centers with this gentle, repetitive task, the ocean sound effectively short-circuits the cycle of rumination that keeps so many awake. The biological mechanisms of sleep onset require exactly this kind of mental surrender, a letting go of the day's complex puzzles and unresolved anxieties. The waves offer a simple, singular focus, gently guiding the conscious mind toward the quiet shores of oblivion. Even the microscopic architecture of the water itself holds hidden layers of this tranquil design. Consider the journey of a single droplet within the cresting wave, propelled forward by invisible currents, suspended for a brief, weightless moment in the night air, before joining the collective, rushing embrace of the shore. Every tiny interaction of water and air generates the soft, hissing frequencies that soothe us. The physics of a breaking wave is a masterpiece of energy dispersal, transforming the massive kinetic force of the ocean into a gentle, acoustic sigh. As the water crashes and foams, millions of tiny air bubbles are trapped and subsequently burst, releasing the high-frequency sounds that perfectly balance the low-frequency roar of the moving water. This delicate, microscopic destruction is what creates the perfect acoustic blanket of pink noise. Beneath this flawless acoustic blanket, the sleeper easily slips past the lighter stages of slumber and descends into the profound depths of restorative rest. The body's internal architecture rebuilds itself in these quiet hours, repairing muscle tissue, consolidating memories, and flushing away the metabolic waste accumulated during the waking day. The ocean's rhythm ensures this delicate restorative process remains uninterrupted, holding the sleeper safely in the deep. Neuroscientists observing the sleeping brain note a beautiful symmetry during these deepest cycles, characterized by the emergence of slow-wave sleep. During this phase, the electrical activity of the brain itself begins to mimic the slow, powerful, rolling rhythm of the ocean waves. The mind generates massive, synchronized electrical pulses that sweep across the cortex, washing away the mental debris of the day, just as the tide cleanses the shore. This mirroring between the environment and the mind suggests that our internal rhythms are inextricably linked to the natural world. When we listen to the ocean, we are not merely hearing a sound, we are tuning our biological instruments to the baseline frequency of the earth. The sound of the waves acts as a tuning fork, bringing the chaotic, dissonant vibrations of modern life back into a harmonious, natural resonance. Traditional healing practices across the globe have always recognized water as the ultimate solvent, capable of dissolving both physical tension and emotional weight. To rest beside the water is to submit to a force much older and larger than oneself, surrendering the illusion of control to the endless, cyclical wisdom of the tides. It is a practice of letting go, allowing the rhythm of nature to carry the burden of existence for a few quiet hours. Emerging from this profound depth of sleep, the awakening process is completely transformed, devoid of the sudden, jarring shock of a synthetic alarm. As the morning light slowly shifts the colors of the horizon, the sleeper rises gently, carrying the lingering tranquility of the ocean's rhythm within their own body. The nervous system, having spent the night bathed in safety and restoration, is calm, resilient, and deeply grounded. The biological blueprint of the night continues to influence our waking hours, providing a steady, internal anchor even as the demands of the day begin. The parasympathetic tone established by the sound of the waves leaves a lasting imprint on our physiology, buffering us against sudden spikes of stress and anxiety. We move through the world with a little more grace, our breath slightly deeper, our reactions slightly softer, echoing the enduring calm of the shoreline. Far away from the demands of our daily lives, the ocean continues its endless, rhythmic work, entirely indifferent to the passage of time or the complexities of human existence. The waves will gather, crest, and break against the sand tonight, tomorrow, and for 1,000 years to come, offering their perfect acoustic symphony to the empty air. It is a comforting thought, knowing that this vast, natural sanctuary of sound is always there, waiting to be accessed. The architecture of rest is not something we must invent or forcefully construct, but a natural design we simply need to rediscover and embrace. By understanding how the gentle, predictable roar of the ocean speaks to our deepest biological mechanisms, we unlock a timeless pathway to profound tranquility. The blueprint has always been written in the water, a gentle, continuous invitation to let go, to listen, and to finally, deeply, sleep.